Hello, friends. Sorry, I woke up late. Let's be real. That's what happened. I had a nice sleep because I was up to like 3 playing Minecraft. Don't worry about it. Minecraft does that. So I have not really allowed my morning cuppa to get in yet. But it's good to see you all. Thank you for coming in. It is the daytime. My logo is missing. Now it's not. We're all good. Hope you're all well. And I don't think I've set myself. Oh no, I'm still on low latency. That's okay. It's fine. I was just like, oh no, the delay is bad, but that's the way it is. I stream in like 1440 compared to like 1080, so it does mean I have a little bit of a larger delay, but I think it's worth it because then we get better quality, which is, it's always nice, I think. But yes, Hunter Chino, everyone, it is good to see you all. Thanks for coming on in to debut Hunter Boogaloo. Debut 2. It's like Mountain Dew, but when it first came out. Debut 2 Hunter Boogaloo. What's going on? Thanks for coming on in, and I hope you're doing well. Today's objectives will be somewhat similar, but a lot less prepared than yesterday. Plan for today will be really going into like a bit more of design decisions, why my character looks the way it does, what my objectives for doing VTuber stuff is. That kind of stuff is really the plan. Just a quick check to make sure that I am coming through okay. Dado na kikoimasu ka? Just want to make sure. I need to get an animation for when I drink because I drink so much and it's going to make my mouth look so weird every time. Like you just see it be like, and then silence. It's like, oh, Hunter's drinking. But yeah, that's today's objectives. There's no slides today. It's going to be pretty chill. I was considering making like Q&A slides and stuff like that, but I thought instead I would probably just keep this one a little bit more free flow, and I slept in. So that, there's the real reason. But yeah, but I do have some cool things that I do want to show as we get on. So one thing I did mention, and the first thing I want to talk about more than anything else is my model, the me here, and where it came from and why it is the way that it is. So I know I've just debuted, but this is actually the 3rd version of my model. It took, because we spent about a year designing and really concepting out what I would look like, it has gone through a couple of iterations. And I do have one of those models, or the first one never actually hit the model stage. It stayed in concept and then we eliminated it from concept. And I'll show off and explain why. The second one is actually a functioning, albeit poorly, functioning model. It works. And then the third one is the one you see here, this boy. So we had a few different ones, and that's just because it took so long. So originally when I started, because I've been watching VTubers since like the Kizna Ai days, since the early Kizna Ai days. So I'm old. As I said in my like debut slide, I do actually have those here. Bam. I'm in my 30s, so I've been watching them for quite some time. And me and a few friends, we got together about a year and a half ago now, I would say. And we just, had a chat over bevies because I'm Australian, that's what we do. And we just started blocking something out. So I actually have 2 or 3 different pretty large multi-page design documents over how I wanted to do this. The character, the backstory, motivations, catchphrases, and then we got into actually what the design was going to look like. And we were originally going to go for something a lot more surfy, not surf bro, but it was going to be a much more surfy related to the ocean design. And the only part of that that's kind of stuck is the teeth. You see my teeth right here, Look at my teeth. My teeth. Nom 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 nom. Like they're shark boys, right? They that's what they are. That's kind of the only thing that's stuck, and that's kind of out of, I suppose, reverence to the original design. Pretty much everything else changed. So like for my, and the other thing was that I'm not wearing any shoes. That's the other thing that stuck, was no shoes. But like the shorts were eventually very different. They were originally like, well, not the board shorts, but they were much shorter. I wasn't wearing a haori. I was wearing like a different kind of jacket in the first design document that we did. It was incredibly different. And the character was going to be a significantly more like quote unquote Australian kind of in approach. I was going to use much more Australian vernacular and she'd be like, oh, g'day, mate, how's it going? Like, you know, like that kind of juncture, right? And then we didn't do that. So the first, like, well, that was the first design document. Then we went to a second one when we started really refining things and was like, maybe I want to create more of a link to East Asia and kind of not be full like, oh, Aussie as mate. And we did that. And I say East Asia specifically because my first model actually had a much more manhwa style look to it compared to the look you see now, which is a little bit different, obviously. So we went through a couple of design documents and I was like, all right, cool, I need to find an artist and a rigger. And I found one, but it was one that was, you know, unknown, and there's nothing wrong with that. Unknown is totally fine. And they specialize in this manhwa style, and I haven't really seen that done with VTubers. Like, I've just not seen manhwa looking VTubers, and I was like, this is really different. You could do something really cool with this. And there's someone that had done VTubing, like character design and rigging before, and they were offering the whole service for like 800 USD, I think. I was like, cool, let's go with this. Awesome. However, communication with them kind of broke down. Let me see if I can quickly bring up, again, like I woke up late, so I'm a little bit slow here. You're gonna hear me typing away on a keyboard because this microphone is not very good at removing that. Wait, that should be here. Just give me a second to click a lot. Take time. I will, because I have to. Like I can only click so fast, and I have so many things to look at. I gotta find the right one. Now, is this the one? Face deprecated. That's it. Right. So I am going to just download these because I'm gonna show off my reference sheet today too. So you guys will see all three versions of character. It gets zipping now, it'll take a little bit of time, but yeah, we'll get to that. And the first design, at first, when I first saw it, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I really liked it until I realized that like it didn't code as like a manhwa character. It coded as someone that is Korean, and while that is not a bad thing, that's totally fine. I'm not Korean. I'm a white boy Aussie. It's not really gonna work. So where did I put? I folded it. So as a result, I kind of just decided, like, you know, we've got to scrap that. So let me see if I can bring this up. Let me make sure I've got the right one first. I think it's this one. It is. But a couple of things that have stuck around the whole time. The koala, my koala boy, who is currently not around. Yo, what's up, Noah? How you doing? He's there. That's a loud noise. So let me just bring up OBS as well. You would think this would be easy when this computer has 3 monitors attached to it, but it's not. So I've been a bit lax on that. So let's grab you. This is the first design that I had. So you look compared to me now, you can see the shorts are quite different. We did keep with the no feet thing, but the shorts were different. The earring was there, and the koala boy was there. And like the necklace is a bit different now, but like that was the first design. And when I first saw it, I really liked it. You can see the colors are a lot earthier compared to the more fire element aspect that I am now. We originally were going for an kind of earth and sea concept, which changed to kind of more of a fire and earth concept in the end. But yeah, that's the first design we had. Now, I love it, and I think it's really great, but you look at it, you look at the face, and you go, like, that's very, like, it's very Korean coding, and there's nothing wrong with that, that's great, but I am not that. It doesn't really work, and I felt uncomfortable with that, so I asked them to change it, and they did, and here's where things kind of got a little bit difficult. So we did change it, boom. Here was the second design. So the colors went a little bit different. You can start seeing things kind of hitting their stride a bit. So you see the Haori kind of got a second color. It was kind of one color each side. That didn't really stay the same, as you can see. But the bucket hat, like my old bucket hat, appeared from this point onwards. And the character looked a lot different. You can see a much more kind of Caucasian style facial structure. The shorts had a couple layers added to them, and that was it. The feet were the same, and we started getting a little bit of the design here. But there's also a back to this design. This design had a back, and you'll see in my let's go to my night logo here. Oops, I forgot I had the stinger going still. But you see in the night logo there is like this bird, well, the phoenix stripe on the right hand side that kind of is animated around, and it's just there. We'll go back to here and we'll pull up the back design, and that actually came from this. They came from the back of my character, which has feet forward facing, don't worry about it. But yeah, that's where the phoenix came from. So that's another kind of homage to the old artist, or the old artist rather, who did this work for me, and kind of how it is. Now I believe, you're gonna break immersion here for a second, I have that model here too. So this is gonna have to, or don't worry about it, it's fine. It's me. So this was the second version of the character. As you can see, it's still kind of rough. There's like some lines on the side there that aren't great, and there's one there that isn't great. You know, it's very choppy. But this was given to me as like their completed model. They were done at this point, which, you know, is cool, but maybe a bit sad because it is like clearly incomplete. And that's where I realized we're starting to run into problems. Like the eyebrows don't really move all that much, and facial expressions were hard. And I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, but not what I was hoping for. So we'll go back to my me model. Ha ha ha! Come on. It's me. We did it. We're back to me. Hooray. I'm gonna bring back up here, and then bam. So that was model number 2. And hey June, how you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Oh, Hunter Chino, what's going on? Boom. But yeah, so that was design 2. Now yeah, we've started at noon. It did start at my noon. It didn't start at your noon. Started at noon Australian time. Oh no, did I say noon JST? I hope not. I didn't mean to. Sorry, Becca. But like, yeah, this was character 2 or model 2. I guess if Jun's tuning in, so we're talking about like my design history. We've gone from where we are to where we are now. So that particular, so glad you. Well, I'm probably going to be going for a couple hours today, so, you know, and there's always the VOD, but thank you for popping in, even though I imagine you might be a little bit busy. Thank you for coming in anyway. But yes, so in terms of my character design, so as you can see, we went through like ultra Korean looking boy to a lot less Korean with a bucket hat looking boy, which was then completed as a model, but the model doesn't really work, which we showed off just before, so you may have just seen it. And I was talking to them more, being like, all right, cool. Like, I was happy at that point. I was like, sick, I have a model. I can start, and I can always build up from here. And I did like their work, and they were pretty communicative. And I was like, all right, cool. I need a background now. And that's where things got a bit hard. You'll notice I haven't mentioned this artist's name. That's because this artist, effectively, and like, I'm very thankful for them. They took the money and ran with when I wanted my background done. So they started on my background and they were cleaning up my model because I was like, hey, I'll give you a bit more money, just clean the model up and kind of go from there. And then they ran. But I'm not sad about that because we basically used all of the stuff they gave me still. The background, they gave me a sketch. They didn't finish it. That's the sketch. So behind here is the sketch in the background. So we still found a way to use it. As well as the very first headshot, professional headshot I got done through Uwu Media of my old design. You can see a lot of my stuff is all like my technical difficulties screen is the old design. A huge amount of my stuff is my old design, including my alerts and things like that. And that's because I kind of got everything done because I had a model completed, right? And I was like, okay, cool, I can start getting the rest done. And then when I realized they were gone, and I'm like, oh no, I've lost my artist. I'm gonna have to start over because I won't be able to get the model updated because I don't have any of the source files, which is really problematic. It's like, no, I can't get like new outfits or new items. Or speaking of items, my items vanished. There we go. And yeah, I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll start over. But I had my 2 design documents and I had a completed model, which I could show. So I decided at that point, single artist, bad idea. We've got to like share the wealth effectively. And by that, I mean, cover my own basis. I wish the artist did everything good. Like if they stuck around June, I probably would have just kept using them. But you know, they vanished one day. I don't want to think negatively. Maybe they got really sick. Or maybe something happened. Maybe money was tight. They were based in Southeast Asia. They were using someone else's PayPal, which apparently is common over there. And yeah, so I wish them all the best. But unfortunately, their reliability kind of tanked. But I do still love the fact that I have, like, you know, they wanted to be Korean me. I guess I can. The ears are really big in that design too, if you have a look. But the cuteness of the koala, the cuteness of Noah has stuck the whole time. So I approached Uwu Media, who I'd been talking to for a while anyway, because they had done a bunch of my alerts and panels and stuff for my old design. And I have all of that. I probably should show some of that off, hey. I guess I could. I just gotta find it. It wouldn't be too hard to find. But I'll get into that in a bit. And I decided, hey, why don't we just get my model completely overdone? I know I've just ordered, like, you know, $500,000 of design of like alerts and stuff from you for my old character, but let's remake the character. So I did, and as a result, this is the character you see here. So how this one worked was VelDC, who is the artist and rigger for Uwu Media for their models, right? I gave them the second model, so the model we showed up before, and my design documents, and I was like, just go ham, do what you want. And they kind of did a little bit of everything. So they took some inspirations from the second character, like the completed model. And then they mainly went back to my first design document and took a heap from that. And the result is what you see here. It's me. So this is the result of what Uwu Media did. They did a fantastic job. I'm really happy. Like the eyes track really well. The eyebrows track really well. The art is ultra vibrant. Like it's really punchy red. I do need to do some filtering on OBS I haven't done yet to make the red kind of come out a bit better because it's really punchy on my iPad, but on monitors the punch isn't so heavy. So I need to do some color correction still to really like give us that red and really kind of kick into that. But we'll get there. I'm ultimately very happy with what Uwu Media has done. I definitely want to start working on some improvements. Like I want to really... At first I thought, oh man, the mouth movements are like not fully attuned to what I do. Like, case in point, if I close my mouth, it's still kind of open a little bit. And that's probably on me. That's probably me just not setting it up correctly. But with VBridger coming out now and like blend shades being available in VTS now, I'm really hoping to get my mouth movements a little bit more updated so we can go from there. But everything else I'm ultra happy with. It's a bit of a blessing in disguise, as June has said. Like, it comes into... Things are a bit rough, and like, I was very sad when I realized I'm not going to use that model anymore. It didn't demotivate me, but it was definitely like, you know what? I'm going to come back to this in like a month. I'm going to go do some other stuff for a bit and come back to it. And as a result, though, I've gained a fantastic model from a company, and this company like Uru Media, like they're working with HoloLive now, they're working with Nijisanji now, they're working with like Corp. They've gone really high end, but I got in very early. So I am, even though I think I may have come out after second, I'm Uru Media's second model. I'm really early on. The first one is Shiro, who is also another, just through sheer happenstance, also another cafe VTuber. There's two of us. I was like, that's it, Uru, you can only do cafe ones now, nothing else. And yeah, I'm really happy with the result. And that's when I was like, all right, cool. I am working with a, with an organization now, which has like accountability and ways to track things if things go wrong. And their feedback process is really good, because I had a lot of feedback with like back and forth. Like there's a lot of back and forth between me and the team to get the character right and a few other things. So like they're and their reputation as well. Like they have a reputation to uphold, and like if things go south, it's not good. With the artist who did my Korean design, when things went south, they just privated and left. Like both their accounts went private and they just stopped talking. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then they soft blocked me so that I couldn't see them either. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They're clearly gone. But there's no consequence to them, right? Because they'd only have worked with one VTuber before me. Uru Media is a full organization, much more accountability. Yes, you do show up as pink. I'm not sure if that's just designed by that, but they did. Yeah, they did. They told me that they were going to. They're like, hey, I'm just soft blocking you as a heads up because my account is now a personal account. I was like, that's fine, that's cool. I could keep talking to them because like I could continue to message them back and forth. So I hadn't lost the ability to message them. But then they just, you know, stopped after a while. Again, I wish them well. I am assuming like something serious or like life-threatening happened and maybe they just had to. And, you know, if that's the case, it's fine. And I'm not too sad because I basically, in my head, I justify it as design fees. I pretty much paid for design fees because the background you see now, the sketch that they and the design, they like inspiration for the background was the incomplete background that the other artist did. So like I used everything they gave me. I wanted a complete background. That would have been nice, but I used everything they gave me to kind of really evolve it and still make it a part of who I am and bring it into the new design and bring it into the new character. So it did work out. I know there's other people out there where like they get it really hard and it didn't work out, but this one did. I guess from that point, let's talk about the background now. So for this, I'm going to go back to the full screen background and shrink me a little bit. All right, cool. So this is the full cafe, like based on the original sketch that we did. The flickering is something I want to talk about actually, because I could really like that too. So we went for this whole like a dark light kind of Kisaten style vibe, right? And for those who maybe haven't gone to Japan, and this like Kisaten are generally pretty poorly lit. That's by design. That's the design of those like Showa era like cafes, right? Where, you know, you sit down and you can kind of just enjoy them. There's one in particular I took a lot of inspiration from called Chate Hato. So, that was the Hatsuon ga ware. That was really bad pitch accent. But so Chate Hato, because it's 4 letters, that's how you do it, right? So Chate Hato it's in Shibuya, if I'm not mistaken. If I recall, it's been a while since I've been there. Is like my favorite cafe I've ever been to. You go there, they have like hundreds of different mugs you can choose from, and the barista will like pick, or you don't get to pick, the barista picks the mug for you, like based on what you're wearing and based on your design. And the coffee is really nice and the cakes are really nice. It's definitely expensive, but it is a really comfy and nice vibe, and it's like where you would go to have a meeting or to just like chill and work for a little bit, have a cake. It's like if Starbucks was cozy and the coffee was good. And all done drip coffee. It's all done by drip. which, you know, I'm a fan of. I pour over, rather. I'm a fan of, because I do pour over at home. Yeah, totally, June. I can share that too. I love that place, so I will send you a message somehow. I should really follow you on my own on my account here. When I do that, I'll send you some info. Don't do it with bitter. Oh, they have sweet cakes. They have sweet cakes, and you can get your coffee with milk. It's not like you can't do that. They had a pretty extensive menu of like options available, so you don't have to get bitter. Or the thing is with pour over coffee compared to like espresso coffee, you lose a lot of that bitterness. It's a very different kind of taste depending on the coffee. I actually don't really do well with bitter either, but I drink pour over coffee all the time. Even black still, because it's less bitter, it's less sour, it's less astringent. It's just different, very different style. It's really fun to watch them make it too. As someone who makes it, I make it every day here in the cafe, obviously. And like the little thing, I just, you know, pop, like this stuff here. You can see my mouse. No, I gotta fix that. Hold on, how do I fix that? Remove cursor. No, why can I not remove cursor? Oh yeah, remove cursor. I did it. This stuff in front of me now is drip filter stuff. There's all drip filter stuff there. Which was like one of the things I really wanted in here, because I do drip coffee every day anyway. I wanted that to be a part of me. And I want to, you know, this character is lovely, but the character is, originally I was going to be a lot more like not me in this character and be much more performative. And there will be definitely instances where I do performative, because I think it's really fun. Pardon me, one sec. To do performative acting and character acting. But I decided instead to make this simply more an extension of myself as an individual. And as a result, like, the drip coffee was one of those things. And so again, I used Media for this background, and we went back and forth quite a bit. And we decided to animate it to an extent. So there is some animation, as you can see. The flickering lights, that was my idea. And that's actually went through like 3 or 4 feedback processes. There's actually a huge amount of thought in the flickering lights, like the way they flicker, the pace they flicker, the alternating patterns that they flicker in, things like that. And like the duration of flicker time, because the first one was like 5 seconds. I'm like, nah, I need like 30 seconds and stuff like that. And you can even see a little specks and flickers of like fire, or like that fiery style stuff that kind of like floating around on the screen, things like that. It is all there, but there was a huge amount of back and forth solely for the lights. There is one other part which I'm going to show off. I'm going to hide chat for a second and hide the foreground. So this was given to me as a background, right? Just as this. But I changed it into a foreground just so I could stand behind it. But if you look in the cash register, the cash register is animated. There's a little bit of flickering lights. The dust, that's exact dust. Yeah, the register animates, but because I turned it into a foreground so I could stand behind it, unfortunately we lose that animation. But sometimes I'll want to be like, all right, cool, I'm going to come and stand in front, or I have a seat, you know, things like that. And that's when you'll be able to see it. So I didn't ask for that animation either. Media just did it themselves and did a fantastic job. But you'll also realize that this is a very empty cafe. And I'm not sure if I regret that. I don't think I do. There is a reason for it. The reason why it's so empty, per se, is because I wanted to have the ability to fill it up. Like with, like, you know, memories, or with cool things that we do. Or if I have sponsors. Nah, it's because I'm skint, right? I'm broke. I couldn't afford anything. No, I want to have, like, logos. So, like, let's say I get sponsored by a company. I can put their logo on the shelf. And it allows me a huge amount of modularity with what I'm doing with this background and design. It really just kind of like allows a lot of flexibility. But I also regret that a little bit, because with the cakes, little cake area, if I walk behind the cake area, you'll see that like I don't stand, because I had to foreground it, and I'm like I'm not good enough to do it properly. I just vanish behind it. So it makes things a little bit hard. And also, I have no real way of putting stuff in there, because I'd have to like make it look like it's behind the glass and stuff like that. And I don't have that ability. I just don't. So it's probably just gonna, you know, be hidden by chat and stay empty for a while. I think that's my solution. Just hide the evidence. It's not there anymore. Like, don't worry about it. Oh, look. Oh, wait, no. Oh, look. Oh, wait, no. Oh, it's over there. Oh, no. I can't do it. Let's just pretend. Oh, look, it's gone now. What are you talking about? It's not there. There's no case there. It's completely fine. Oh, dear. But yeah, no, it's not out of place until I point it out. But I also have fun pointing it out. I think it's kind of funny. So, but it's interesting. It's good to know, you know, like, because I said in my design to do that. So I'm silly. But sometimes you really can't see things till they're done. And that's the importance of having a really communicative design process. And I'm really thankful that Uwu Media are. It does help that they're also based in Australia. We have the Thames time zone. The Thames time zones.
Thames time zones. Same time zones.
Same time zones. That it makes just talking with them really, really easy. I'm a huge fan of Valhalla, Henry. I actually have a Jill plush toy here. I can't show it off, obviously, because I can't show... I am a secret. But, like, yeah. So, I do have I'm a big fan of Valhalla. Like, I have the plush toy. I have multiple coasters. I have, like, the soundtrack in CD and in vinyl form. Big fan. Big fan of Valhalla. Love it. Love the series. I haven't played Red Strings Club, and I still have to play Coffee Talk, which is... Coffee Talk is basically Valhalla in a cafe. I wanted to save that for a stream game because that kind of makes sense, right? So we will have that. I've got it on the Switch. I got the like a collector's edition from a long time ago. So I'm keen to play that. So yeah, they're in the same time zone. It makes communication with them incredibly simple from Monday to Friday. And it means we can just get things done. And, you know, I'm just like, yep, cool. I have enough faith in them now. I can be like, yep, cool. Here's what I need. I'll see you in like a few weeks. And the problem is solved, right? And then they do it. And then they do it, which is great. But I haven't got anything new, like, in the pipeline for, like, things I'm making or designing or things like that. Mostly because, and a lot of people don't realize this, getting into VTubing in the way that I've done it is kind of prohibitively expensive. Like, if I were to calculate how much I've spent on this, and I did it responsibly. I didn't just, like, throw money and that's it. Because I had to get an iPad as well. So the iPad was like $1.5 grand. The model was about $1.5 grand. The background was about 500. And then a bunch of other stuff. I reckon I've spent in my currency in like AUD probably like 7,000 roughly. It's a lot, but this is something I really want to enjoy doing. And it's like that's a lot for someone to go like, oh, I'm gonna put all that in and then start. What if it doesn't succeed? For me, success isn't the end game. For me, it's all about just like, I want to have something fun to do and make friends. And I really enjoy content creation. And I've come into this having done content creation elsewhere for a while, which is, you know, but I want to take, I take, when I do anything, I take it really seriously. Like, I can't be like, oh yeah, nah, a little bit. Like, even if it's a hobby, no, I have to be like all in. If I don't all in something, I won't care, for lack of better terms. Like, I have to put all my energy in or I'm just not as excited for it. So I put all my energy in. And I think already, like, even though it's only stream number 2, right? I am very happy with the results already. I already really am quite happy. Yeah, like the 2 music files I have, they cost money. I'll get into that as well. This is really a deep dive into the design process for this broadcast, because it's just something fun to talk about. Yeah, it cost a bit, and you definitely don't need to spend that to get into VTubing. That's the last thing that I want to go preaching is, oh, you gotta spend lots of money, give me all your money, like, to get into VTubing. No, you can start for free if you have the artistic talent and you want to learn how to rig. I've seen friends of mine learn how to rig. Learning how to do a really basic rig is not too tricky. Learning how to do a good rig, different story. But like, yeah, so there's like that, and then you can start easy. There are like a bunch of free models out there. There are a bunch of models you can purchase for quite cheap out there as well, especially if you understand Japanese. If you want to go into like the Japanese live 2D sections, that helps a lot as well. When he squints, that's because I have a lazy eyelid on my left eye, and that's just like, I don't know how to get around that. Like, it takes a bit of effort to close my right eye, but my left eye kind of just naturally closes a lot, which makes things a bit tricky. But But yeah, oop, I have a quick little messagey, which is good. Okay. All right. But yeah, that's kind of the. Whoa, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my chat numbers. Not right now. But yeah, that's kind of the, I suppose, reason for costing. I lost my train of thought for a second, but yeah, you don't have to spend lots of money. You don't have to do what I did. There's plenty of really good backgrounds out there that are free. A good example, and I want to point this out, is Amorphia. They are a Southeast Asian based illustrator. They did a couple of my backgrounds. So they did this one here, the daytime and the nighttime. They did those. Those cost me like a few hundred, but you can just subscribe to their coffee for $10 a month. And you get backgrounds to use commercially available. So like this background here is one that I got from Amorphia for $10 a month, and you can use it. Same with this. I got this one from him for $10, and this as well. All of these three, $10 for the lot, like 10 a month. So I've spent $20 USD to have 3 really high quality backgrounds. I'm a huge fan of this one. You'll probably see me use this one. Pardon me, a little bit. 1 second. Yeah, they're fantastic, and they cost very little. If you can afford, you get a new background each month, and the first month came with 2. So I am a huge fan of Amorphia, and I'm gonna push it heavily. Yeah, you get, like, they've advertised that you get a new one each month, and I believe that they'll do that because I've like worked with them already and really like their work. And yeah, they put heaps of effort into it. So the only downside is, you know, it won't be unique to you. So I go to my little cafes here, and like, you know, I know that they're for me. Only I have these. I guess someone screen caps my stream. I guess they can do it, which they could because I stream in 1440p. So oh no, but like those are distinctly mine, right? Those are ones that only I have and no one else has like rights to use. If I see no one using them, I can be like, no, you're not allowed to use that. Artists could get them. But with these ones, anyone can use them. But it's fine. This one in particular, I think, was it this one or this one? No, this one. This one came in 2 colors. So it came with a pink design, which is the one you see, and a blue design. And he's also made some assets as well. So Amorphia, or they're a team. They've made a desk, and they've made like a gaming chair. So like when you're gaming, so I'll show off my like actually, can I show that off? I can, yeah. So this is my gaming one, which I'll get into it a bit. But like I'll show it now. If I was like down here playing games, this is like my game. I haven't shown this off yet. This is my gaming overlay, and I haven't got my game signal up right now just because I know it's got some identifying information, so I'm just kind of leaving it down for a little bit. But yeah, like you could put the chair like behind me or something like that, and then there'd be gaming chair. So that's kind of, or like a desk if you want to put like a keyboard on the desk and like have like a little like hand animation for on the keyboard. There's that kind of stuff that you can do. So I'm going down the stairs. No, it's not. But yeah. So that's kind of the stuff you can do in that regard, and there's things you can find for cheap. So yeah, Amorphia, recommend them highly. It's like $10 a month, and you get some amazing backgrounds. I really want to share that out a lot more because I'm really thankful for how good Amorphia were to work with. And their work is amazing, and their turnaround time is very quick. So unlike the background here, which is like A, animated, but B also has that like illustrative design. You look at the Amorphia ones and it's clear it's like baked in 3D imagery. So they like make it in like some kind of 3D software. I think they use like engineering software off the top of my head, and then they bake it in and then go boom. So for example, like they're like, oh yeah, we can make the daytime one for like X amount of money. If you want a nighttime version, it'll only cost you another $50. For an illustrator, they'd have to charge you the whole thing over again. But because it was 3D, he's just like, oh, I just need to move the lights and rebake it, and then you're done. $90. There you go. And I was like, oh, perfect. It's like not a whole amount more for effectively a full second background. So I will take that. And you'll see me use these sometimes because I want to eventually get it. So like I'm standing at the door. I could probably just do that now, actually. If I go like aha, it's me. Aha. Yo, what's up? What's going on? It's me standing at the front of a door in front of my logo. Let's fix that. Aha, perfect. So yeah, like I will use them for things like this. It's a bit hard to see, but yeah, I love the koala on the tee. The koala on the tee. Huge fan of that design. So I will. I guess that's a really good segue to talk about the logos a lot more. So the logos, as well as the overlays. I talked about this a little bit in oh, I'm tiny now. I'm just standing on the desk. Can I do that? Probably can. If I go here and then I go here. Aha! It's me. I'm standing on my desk. Yeah. So if I wanted to talk a little bit about, I suppose, small Feni is small. But yeah, I want to talk about the logos real quick and the joke is done, Hunter. We get it. You can make us a small. To talk about the design of the logos and how well the logos went. So I have two of them, as you can see, because I just decided I wanted two different kind of ones. I wanted one that more emphasizes the cafe and one that more emphasizes me as an individual. So you can see in the top right hand corner, that is kind of the cafe emphasis logo. And then, yeah, the fire one, which we saw in the night one here with me. Oh dear, is the one that's meant to be more me as an individual. I kind of wanted to have two different things depending on what I'm doing, because eventually I was like, oh, with the logo, do I put it like behind me on that like blank pane or something like that? I had a few different thoughts and processes behind that until I realized I couldn't really bake the coloring correctly, so I just chose to pop it in the top corner. These logos were done by one person, then animated by another. So they were animated by Uwe Media, because Uwe Media is pretty much who I use for almost everything. But the logos themselves were done by a company called Negai Lab. Negai Lab, I commissioned them before they were Negai Lab, when they were like an artist. And now they're in Negai Lab. Negai Lab are doing some huge stuff now. Much like Uwe Media, they're working with corporate these days. So a lot of Holostars Tempest, the most recent Holostars EN branch, Negai Lab worked with them for all their stingers and did some fantastic stuff. Again, they're fantastic to work with. And then my debut video was referred to me by Negai Lab. And I think that artist actually also works for Negai Lab now, who did a MV for my debut video. If you haven't seen that, it's on Twitter. I will upload it onto YouTube as like a non-ping video. So it'll just go up and you can just look at it at some point. But yeah, they're doing some crazy stuff now because they're working with like high-end corporate VTubers, which is crazy. I got really lucky, and then like the two main companies I work with, I got in on the ground level kind of before they started doing corporate stuff, and now they're doing corporate stuff, which makes sense. It's been a year, but they've grown so much in a year, right? And their art was already good, and it's gotten way higher. But I basically gave them free reign. I was like, yep, cool. Do whatever you want to do with the logos. I want one for me as a person. Here's my design document. And I want one that is a lot more about the cafe. And this is kind of what they came up with. Again, they were really easy to work with, but there wasn't much feedback needed. I gave a little bit of feedback on the fire logo because I wanted, like, you said the koala on the T that June pointed out. I wanted that to... like, I wanted that to stand out a little bit more. So I wanted to, like, make the T a little bit more obvious. Like, yes, it's a koala there because it's kind of the cute part. Everyone kind of defaults to, my boy Noah hanging out on the shoulder. So I figured that was kind of the way to go. That was really the only feedback I gave. Apart from that, I was like, these are perfect. And then, yeah, Uwe Media animated them way down the line. Negai Lab, again, fantastic to work with. Really quick turnaround time. Like, their turnaround times are fast. And their rates, their pricing, like, they should be charging more. If I order from them again and it's the same price as I'm going to tip them, like, they should be charging more for what they do. Their work is very good for the dollar. But maybe they just want to keep it, like, affordable so that people who are newer to VTubing can get in on a ground level. There are definitely a few artists that do that, I think. And I really like that they have that mentality, I suppose, is the way I would call that. Like, really getting into... oh yeah, I want things to stay cheap so that VTubers can get them, so they can get into the community. Nice and easy. I'm just gonna quickly recalibrate myself. 1 second. I'm gonna stare at the camera. Say cheese, chat. Did it. That's better. I noticed that my mouth was kind of like a little bit out of sync. So I'm like, time to recalibrate. But yeah, that was a cheese. Thank you. Like one friend of mine, he doesn't say cheese. He's like, all right, guys, now say cheese. And everyone's like, wait, what? And then he takes a photo and just catches them off guard every time. I love it. Never gets old. Might have stolen that from him. So yeah, that's kind of the emphasis on my logo. And then that's kind of almost everything in terms of like design story that I have. Oh, I guess the music I can also talk about. So, and then we'll get into questions. I see there's been a couple of questions in the chat and I'm kind of just saving them so I can talk about them here. And if you have questions, and please give me questions. Throw them in the chat and I'll answer them, because I didn't prepare any, because I slept in, because I'm lazy. But yeah, so the music, I have 2 different tracks. So yesterday I used my lo-fi track. Today I use more my like main track. Sleep is important, but I was up really late playing Minecraft. I wonder why. I've got into Minecraft recently. It's really fun. So I want to like probably make a realm here and do some stuff. So I have 2 different tracks. So this is my main track. It's like a 3.5-minute looping track. This is done by someone who I'll only refer to as Cat. And the reason being is I can't find them anymore. I went to credit them, and like my conversation with them on Discord is basically gone, and I can't find them on Twitter. They're just gone. And I was like, oh no. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No. How do I credit them? I hope they're okay. So I knew them as Cat, so their reference is Cat. I can't find them. I hope one day I want them to come back to me and just be like, why didn't you credit me? And I'll be like, I couldn't find you. Now I can credit you. But in this instance, they finished the work, and the work is very good. So it was okay that it was done. And yeah, it cost a couple hundred, but it was worth it. So this one is done by Cat. The other one is done by Sean Bartley. So Sean Bartley works for Bungie now, I think, but not in audio, like as something else. But he works in Bungie. So you'll see this is kind of like my like chill music, but I've also got I'll switch it, like a more like lo-fi music here, which is this one. This is a 1-minute looper. It's a much smaller loop. With the lo-fi music, wasn't really able to give them any direction. It was very much like, it's like, hey, give me $50, give me some real basic direction, and I'll make something that kind of works. And this is what they came up with. This is like the, I don't know, like lo-fi one that I did. So it's a 1-minute looper. It's a much shorter kind of thing. I'll use this sometimes. Like I'll alternate between the 2. And like I'm a music like junkie. I'm a huge fan of music as a whole. It's like a huge part of who I am as an individual. So I'll probably end up commissioning a bunch of music. I would love like a really cool end goal thing. I guess we can keep this into upcoming streams and end goals, which we'll get into at the end. I know June asked yesterday what my goals were, but I didn't really talk about it in yesterday's stream because I wanted to talk about it for today's broadcast. But yeah, this is like the lo-fi music. The yokai music, you guys, that was this one. That was, but it was just like the first 40 seconds of it. But that was this track. But you're getting the whole 3.5-minute version when we talk here. I'll turn up a little bit. But yeah, not that much. Because I'm so used to, like, for me, when I put in, I actually forgot that it was 3 minutes. Because I'm so used to listening to the first like 40 seconds from either my channel trailer or my debut video. I was so used to that. And I'm like, oh wait, it's 3 minutes. Oh wait, it has progressional tunes. I completely forgot about this. Which I'm happy that it has. So this one took a little bit to warm up on me. When I first got it, I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not sure if I'm actually that keen on it. But then it warmed up on me. And I'm like, nah, it's good. Oh, I see. Yesterday, I also have the music quieter today. Yesterday I had it a fair bit louder, and it kind of, I think, I don't know, overpowered a little bit, and it made it a bit hard to understand me. But if I've got the levels wrong, if you can't hear the music, let me know, and I will turn it up. Like, it might be leveling on my end, that's the problem. But I look at like my, actually, yeah, it is. Hold on. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. Because I'm looking at my leveling on my Go XLR and I'm like, wait a second. Oh no, my mic is... it's not peaking because I have a compressor on it, so it won't peak. But my music was like half that. I'm like, oh, you won't be able to hear that at all. That's problematic. But now you can, so it's all good. You can hear it now, yeah. I had it a bit too quiet. That's on me. My bad. What, I got the new streamer problems, right? But yeah, this was the music that I used in my channel trailer and my debut. Shout outs to Elliot here, who did my debut video, because I wanted to use the other music, but they were like, no, this music is better. And they were right, because of course they were. Because not artistically or musically inclined, I just enjoy those things. But yeah, so that's kind of the history of my music. Is, yeah, I got them both again about a year ago. A huge amount of the stuff I got done was about a year ago. Even the model was finished maybe 4 months ago, at least 4 months ago, if not 6. No, 6 months ago. But I had a bunch of other stuff I wanted to get done before I really started. I wanted to really hit the ground running, so that if people like clip the stream or like share the stream out, they can be like, all right, cool, yeah, it's low numbers, but the quality is already high, so that's something, right? I suppose. Let's talk for a little bit about goals, about like objectives. So June asked earlier what streams I plan on doing. I'm going to be doing, you know, like pretty standard VTuber stuff, let's be real, to begin with. So just as I kind of find my feet and get into understanding and enjoying VTubing as a whole, I want to get into beginning with just, you know, gaming streamings 2 or 3 times a week, and then that's done on Sundays. So the just chatting will probably always be Sundays. I did actually make a... oh no, yeah, I was done. I made a schedule post, but it's on the other computer. I stream using 2 computers because I kind of overkilled with the tech. I can't show my tech off because again, it's a bit like my setup is very identifying. So, but I'll post it on Twitter afterwards. But I can talk about it. So like the first gaming stream I'm going to do is the game you'll see me play the most, which is Monster Hunter. I'm a huge fan of Monster Hunter. I have been since like Freedom Unite and the PSP. It's my favorite franchise, apart from like Nier. So first stream is going to be that. It's going to be Monster Hunter Rise on PC. So it won't be on Switch PC version. And that'll be like progressing through Sunbreak. Will be like Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak will be the thing I do for that. So with Monster Hunter streams, it's probably going to be PC ones will be in English, Switch ones will be majoritively Japanese, because most of the player base on Switch is in Japan, so they don't really play it on PC. So, but I'll be playing PC for a while because PC version is kind of the superior version, runs really nice. So I'll play that, but there will be definitely Switch streams as well, and with those I will probably do more. It's probably not going to be full Japanese. My Japanese isn't there yet, but I'll try my best because it's a good way to improve my language, which is one of the main goals of me VTubing as well, is having more excuses to use Japanese in a fast-paced, common setting, so that I'm not just doing like textbook readings or like, you know, chats with my teacher, things like that. I want to actually have the ability to use it in real time on the fly and to like think and conjugate sentences. So that's kind of one of the other reasons I will be doing some streaming in Japanese. I think that's kind of really important. So that's one of the major goals, is going to be doing that. Other major goals is I want to use this as a chance to actually try and finally... oh, I make mistakes all the time. It's great. Mistakes are beautiful. Mistakes are a chance to learn. If you don't make mistakes when you learn language, you're probably not learning it fully correctly. That sounds a bit pretentious, I know, but like mistakes are the chance for you to correct things in your brain and then commit things to your brain. Like I make mistakes all the time, but like I'm happy to. It took a while to be like, oh, I don't know what to say. I need to make it correct though, or I'll be wrong and the teacher will get mad at me. And you know, but after a while, with learning any language, you get there. And you're like, just make the mistake. Don't worry about it. You'll get corrected, or maybe it'll make sense. You never know. I mean, there's always the worry is like, not that it doesn't make sense, but it makes the wrong sense. Like it still makes sense, but the word is incorrect, and people can't infer the correct word. That's always the scary one. But that's not so bad. You just people can figure it out. At least with Japanese, more often than not, people can figure it out. With other languages, I can't really say. With Korean as well, a little bit. From what little Korean I know, but it's I've forgotten. And that's a big thing. Like I studied Korean full time for a whole year. I don't remember any of it. It's all gone. Like it's all gone. What can I say? Like 한국어 공부했어. I can say I studied Korean. That's it. So it's like, oh, I don't remember any of it, and that's because I didn't use it. And I can remember all the grammar because the grammar is the same as very similar to Japanese. Like if you understand Japanese grammar, you understand Korean grammar. Like it's very much the same. So like for example, like you know, if you were to go like Melbourne kara like Sydney made, in Korean that's just like Melbourne-부터 Sydney-까지, right? Like the grammar is the same. Like it's the same. And if you understand that, it makes Korean a lot easier. But there's the problem of like remembering all the other words. And yes, like 10% of the words between Korean and Japanese are shared because they've got Sino origins, right? But so like, you know, Toshokan is like Dosogwan. Like same thing, basically. Daigaku is like 대학교. It's very similar in a lot of Sino-origined Korean words. But I still don't remember basically any of it. So it's really, really hard. And I'm like, oh no, I forgot. Great.忘れてしまいました. But basically, that was the problem I had. And I don't want that to happen with Japanese because I take that way more seriously. Korean was kind of more just for fun. So I want to make sure I'm finding instances to use it. Nothing like cute. But they have the same like, hey, okay. But they have the same Sino origins, right? And of course it doesn't sound mega simple because the pronunciations are different. Korean sounds foreign because they are very different sounds. And like one of the main problems with my Korean is in all my exams, they're like, you speak Korean like a Japanese person. And I'm just like, no! No! That's not correct! Because they have like and then like o and a, and like they see like and are similar and o and a are similar, and it's really hard, like really easy to pronounce like a as like the Japanese like o, and it's just like, oh no, so I go like iso when it really should be like isha. Like I put the emphasis on the wrong places, and it makes it sound like I speak Korean like a Japanese person, apparently. I guess, yeah, if you listen to it, that would sound very foreign. But yeah, because I know them both, it sounds more similar to me. And also because I can make that connection and be like, oh, okay, they both have the same source. If I wanted to be, okay, fine. So Japanese for bag, kaban. Korean for bag, kabang. That's very similar. There's one difference. There's a G on the end because you can't end sentences with an N. Or end a word with an N in Korean. It has to have NG. So, there. You happy? So it's not normally like that common though. But it definitely is sometimes. But then, you know, there are some that are different, like, you know, especially when it comes to like loan words, like kohi becomes like copy. So they're like the loan words are different, but that's because they haven't got the same Sino origins, right? So it doesn't really count. Any plan to make Japanese or Korean learning streams? Yes, there are. Definitely going to be doing that. So Henry said earlier, you go back to the translator. I go back to the translator all the time because sometimes you just have to. And one of the best ways to learn a language is to consume content made for the people that know the language. It does help a lot. It can be tricky. But it does help. So like, for example, if I want to read the news, I'll go read the news. But then I'll go to like NHK Web Easy and read it there as well. So I can at least have context, but keep my Japanese kind of in check. provided the news is the same, which it generally isn't, because Australian news and Japanese news, it's going to be very, very different, right? But that's one of the things I do. Plans to make Japanese or Korean learning streams. That's something I really do want to do. I definitely don't have the authority or ability to educate people in those languages, so I'm not going to. But I definitely want to practice those languages, and there'll be ways I can do that, like Lingo Dia streams. I'm a big fan of Lingo Dia over Duolingo. I find Lingo Dia is much better for Asian languages. Plus, I like the fact that it has a lifetime model. Duolingo, if you want Duolingo like Plus, I think they call it, you have to pay every month, and there's no lifetime one. Lingo Dia had a lifetime one. You just buy it once, and that's it. You have it for like 30 languages, boom. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And I want to start learning other languages as well. Like, I really want to get like some really fundamental like European language structure now. So I'm probably going to learn a little bit of Italian, maybe just a little bit. It's a tiny amount. So just so I can get some structure and understand it. Could I find the structure behind language and like conversational analysis and things like that really fascinating? So that's something I do want to do. I haven't planned that yet though. Again, right now it's very much going to be like landing on my feet and just starting to stream, just start stuff. So for example, like, yeah, Monster Hunter is going to be on Wednesday. And then Friday is going to be Final Fantasy 14, a brand new character. We're starting from the start. I haven't played it in such a long time, so I want to make a new character, and start from there. And then, the day after is going to be Apex, because I'm a VTuber Lamau, and I have to play Apex. It's just, I don't make the rules, it's just how it goes. And then, that's all of them, right? I think Monday, Wednesday, Monster Hunter, Friday, 14, Saturday, Apex, Sunday, that's done. When will I release all that? I guess that is my stream schedule. I mean, I can share it. Just give me a second to like upload it, right? I just need to get it to my other computer, because I have it on my main computer, but not on my other one. If I put it on Google Drive, that'll be how I'll do that. It's just the easier way of doing it. I could. Where's my USB stick? There it is. I can do this because I made it on my... Oh, no, I can't. There's not enough USB slots on my stream PC, so I can't do that. I will just go to there, go to there, quickly make a new folder, buy some time. Nothing like buying time. And then go bop. I said bop. It'll upload to Google Drive. Then I can go to Google Drive on my other PC. And then go refresh because it hasn't appeared yet. Then I can go to here, and then I can quickly download it. I mean, I probably could have just made a conversation while I was doing this and made it a lot less obvious that I was like buying time. But I think it's fun to point out when you stuff up. So I enjoy that. Aha! I have it. Where's my OBS? It is there. So I'm just gonna grab it and kind of hope for the best here and hope that it kind of works out. Bam! We did it. That is my schedule for next week. There we go. I made this. Big thanks to Nagai Lab. Also, Nagai Lab made my schedule. And I was going to use the art from Pacos Candy. Pacos Candy's art's lovely, but I haven't got video rights. So I realized I wouldn't be able to show my stream schedule on stream. So I've just started replacing it with my model instead. Which also makes sense because that art was based on my old design. So it didn't really work out. So yeah, that's the plan. It's all in Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's UTC plus 11, I think. I might not be, but it's in, I know June, you're in Japan, right? So just an hour behind. So if it says 8, it's 7. So yeah, Wednesday evening, I'm trying to spread the stream times around a little bit, just to, you know, allow other people to tune in and watch. So Wednesday at 8 is going to be Monster Hunter Rise on PC. Friday at 5 is going to be a brand new character on FF14. Saturday at 12 is going to be Apex. Sunday at 12 is going to be Zatstan. The weekend ones are pretty much always going to be at 12, I think. Apologies to my European audience, because they will be very asleep and can't really do that. But that's why I've got them like kind of all over the shop. one of my really good personal friends who's going to be watching a fair bit. They're massively into Final Fantasy 14, so my schedule is designed with that in mind. And then Apex is just whatever. Monster Hunter Rise, I kind of just did whatever as well. But yeah, that's kind of the schedule at the moment. I made that up like last night. I'll try and have them up like each Sunday. So by Sunday every time, you'll know what the next week's stuff is going to be. But I can basically guarantee you there will probably never be streams on Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. I have like personal stuff. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, just assume that there will be nothing. Because it pretty much will always be nothing unless like there's an exceptional, I know I have a free evening or something like that. Or like a surprise stream or like a collab stream. Those will probably be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are going to be the days. Some things might change. Like maybe I want to go out on a weekend, so I won't do like a weekend day. Or maybe one of those days I won't do. Or like I'm going to go out with mates Friday nights, and maybe I won't do that. We'll see. I'll try to be a week ahead all the time. Some things may change. We'll see how we go. We're still kind of finding our feet in that regard, I suppose. But, you know, if you guys can make it, awesome. If you can't, that's okay too. I'm happy just to play games and have fun and just have a good time. It will take, you know, as someone who hasn't, you know, gone hard on like social media pushing or things like that, because I didn't want to turn this too much into work, because I work in marketing, I just wanted to have some fun. So if people come in, cool. If people don't come in, that's fine. I can just talk and have fun and play games. And at the end of the day, I'm still playing games, and that's great. In terms of like upcoming major games, there's some really big games that have come out, which I really want to play. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out recently. I really want, like yesterday or Friday, I really want to give that a go. And Live Alive came out recently, which I haven't played the original version, so that would be a fun little journey. I do play a ridiculous amount of gacha as well, like gacha games, but they're a bit of a pain to capture. It's doable. I have the tech. I could just plug in like my Android phone and capture that way, and then you guys can look at me via like the iPad that's recording me now. But I don't know if like I don't find watching gacha games to be fun. If that makes sense. Any Genshin. I do have Genshin. I do love Genshin. I probably won't stream Genshin. We'll see how we go. I've had the account since like day one, since launch, and like the account's not bad, but I don't know if I really want to stream it. We'll see how we go. We might do like, you know, one a month where we just like blitz through the story or something like that. But I need to, and this is a VTuber dilemma, right? I could like a lot of to quickly go on what June said, a lot of people will do like Zatsudan while having like a gacha in the top corner and just like having it on in the background while they're talking. So they'll just be like playing gacha while talking. I could do that. That's something I could definitely do. I have enough gachas to definitely do that if I want to, but we'll see. I also don't really want to get too heavily into gacha. But to go back for a moment, one of the major difficulties I think as a VTuber is having all of your accounts. For example, let's say I have like my Apex account, which is an EA account, my Nintendo account, my Sony account, all of them, of all me as a person, not me as a VTuber. They've all got identifying information. So I need to like cleanse all of them and like change them into like my VTuber name, and then pretty much delete my entire friends list and then like start again. That's I think a difficulty that people don't realize, because it would be too easy to track me if I'm like, yeah, you either need new accounts for everything or you need to change your account for everything. And I don't really want to pay for like games a second. Like my Steam library already has hundreds of games. I don't want to have a new Steam library and have to buy all the games all over again. And like, I already pay for Nintendo Online. I pay for PlayStation Plus. I pay for like Xbox Game Pass. I don't have to pay for them again or like make a new account where I don't have my achievements or things like that anymore. So I have chosen instead to simply scorched earth them all and let's like clear out my entire friends list, unless it's like people that I know, because realistically I don't use my like Steam friends list or my Blizzard friend list like to play games with friends. I hit them up on Discord or Guilded depending, and then play with them there. And then we'll just use like the friend thing solely to get into each other's games. That's all we'll do. Otherwise, we keep a pretty tight ship there. So I'm just like, I don't really need a friends list. I can just delete everyone and start again, and that's fine. So that'll be something I'll be doing. But yeah, you have to be really worried, like really on the ball about that kind of stuff. Yeah, and good friends will respect it anyway. Good friends will be like, all right, cool. They're not gonna matter. It's more like the, you know, your Steam list over time, you end up gaining a little like acquaintances on there, and you're like, I don't really know who that is. Like there's those I've got to clear out. The friends I'll keep, obviously. Like when I say scorched earth, I guess I really don't mean scorched earth, do I? I'll remove those who I don't know, but there'll be some who I keep as well. It will kind of vary. You need to scorch, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's the big one for me. I have to scorch my Nintendo friend list. The painful one is gonna be scorching my Steam list. As someone who has so many like Steam friends over like the 13 years I've had the account, plus, I think. I don't really remember. I have to scorch like all of it because I don't know who like anyone on that list is anymore anyway. So I'm like, nah, just time to just like get rid of them all. It is what it is. It's fine. Yeah, you only play with this. If you play with the same small group, you just, you know, like keep the small group on there, and that's what I'll do. I'll like rebuild it. I see VTubing is a really cool way to make a bunch of new friends and like just explore social interaction in an incredibly different way to what I may have done in the past. It's very different style of social interaction, and I find that in itself really exciting. So that's something I want to kind of dive in on real hard, but it basically means I gotta cleanse my accounts, make sure that there's no way to track them backwards and things like that, and that's difficult. Unfortunately for Genshin, for me, that's particularly difficult. So because people can track user IDs and things like that with Genshin, so with that I need to figure out some kind of way around that, and that's going to take me some time. But once I can figure that out, I'll probably play it. Like, I wouldn't mind streaming it. The game is a heap of fun, and it would give me an excuse to play it. I've not been playing it. I've been diving into other gachas a heap, like the Ni no Kuni MMO. I've been playing that a heap, and also just getting into other games. I've been like trying to break my gacha addiction, let's be really, by playing other stuff, like just playing other games. Like I've been playing the Yakuza games recently and a few other things, and it's like the reason why I played gacha so much is because I was saving all like the big games I was buying for when I start VTubing. Now I've started VTubing, so I can play those games and kind of ditch most of the gacha games, if that makes sense. Hey Masters, how you doing? Good to see you. Hunter Chino. Henry says, as a TTR, as a tactical RPG, or tabletop RPG rather, new DM, you see VTubing as a gold mine of potential. Right, I think so as well. I think there's, I think that's very underutilized right now, is VTuber like D&D campaigns where, like, you know, the models can be dressed up. Like, they can be. And there's some real cool stuff you can do with that. I actually have a feeling that that's something that Hollow Star's Tempest may do. When I first saw them come out, they were mentioning that, like, you know, we're a guild of adventurers. And I was like, you guys could all do like a D&D campaign and it'd be perfect. It'd be set. You just need someone to DM it, right? Unless it's one of them that does it and just like the three others play or something along those lines, or they take turns, which is a bit hard for tabletop. But I think that is something that is not really done in VTubing yet. And I'd love to see that done. Because it would be so easy, or it's not so easy, it's prohibitively expensive, but to change your character into looking like your D&D character. If you were going to do like a long form D&D campaign, absolutely, I would do that. I would spend money on my model to make that happen. I would love to do that. I haven't played D&D since like 3rd edition, which is, remember I said I'm in my 30s? Yeah. I haven't played since like 3rd ed, so like I'm old. So I would love to do that. I just need to, the hard part's finding a, like the hardest part of D&D is, or like any campaign, is always finding a group, and finding a group that's willing to do it like every week or like every month or things like that. Well, Boomer here. It's me, a Boomer. What up?
Kaboom.
But like, yeah, that's something I'd love to do, actually. I have to consider that, because then, you know, the cool thing about it is then you get yourself an adventurer garb afterwards. Like when I'm done, I'll be like, cool, I'm an adventure garb now. But I know if I was going to go to Uwu Media and be like, hey, I need a new outfit, which means we probably should get me as like a base model and then draw outfits on top of the base model. That's really hard, because like my character right now isn't a base model, it's just a drawing. It isn't a model with like clothing on top. So that's where it gets a bit tricky, because I'd be like, hey, I want to get a new design in like an adventurer garb. It's basically me buying a model all over again. There's no real easy way to do that. No real easy way to like, unless we do some really creative toggling, like, you know, unique hat, like toggle a hat, toggle a sword, and just like toggle on like a full armor set. But then you lose a little bit of fluidity and connectivity, right? That's something that, like, if I was going to do that, I'd need to find a group and make sure they absolutely commit to it, because it would cost me like $1,000 to get the model done, right? I'd do it though. It'd be mega fun. I think it'd be worth it if I was doing like an ongoing campaign, for sure. Yeah, if you use like a Vroid model or like a 3D model, way easier to change outfits. 2D, as much as I love it, and I do, outfit changing, really hard. Really, really, really hard. And yeah, like finding a group tune is really, really difficult. Like one that'll like... And to Henry's point also, that you gotta be lucky with them and not get someone that's like a douchebag. Because the problem is, with those groups, it's like a weakest link problem, right? If one stops, then what do? You're like, well, we've lost a character. It's now going to make the campaign significantly harder, and we can only guest character so much. It makes things very tricky, and I'm not sure of a proper counteract to that. But that's also because I haven't played tabletop RPG in quite some time. But I do really enjoy it. I think it's mega fun. I think I would much rather, in my point of view though, I'd rather produce one. I'd rather, instead of being a player, I'd rather be like a DM, but I have no experience. I'd need to get experience first. I should look at, I know there's some local clubs near me. I should look into that. But free time is kind of limited. And now that I'm VTubing, free time is even more limited. So we'll see how we go. I think that'd be really fun though. I think it'd be really, really cool. And I'm kind of shocked that it hasn't really been properly done yet. I guess because to quote unquote properly do it would be prohibitively expensive, because you're going to need like 5 VTubers all rigged up and all that kind of stuff. And like making that works really hard. DMing one-shots would be a way to do it for sure. Absolutely. Like one-shots would be the way to do that. But yeah, like no, yeah, it's something to consider. That's for sure. I'd like to do it. I think it'd be heaps of fun. But yeah, like it's a tall order as a VTuber to do that. Whereas like as an IRL content creator, someone can just set some cameras up and sit down and then you're done. It's a lot easier. Much easier to execute. As a VTuber, a little bit harder. But if I'm doing content, I'm doing it as a VTuber. I don't do content as an individual. I do it all as a VTuber. So that's my option. What else am I gonna do apart from do it that way? Food for thought. Food for thought. Something I want to at least block out viability for. But realistically, you would need like an experienced DM, 4 players, the ability for all those players, and the expenditure for all those players to be able to get new model and clothing now. And that's, yeah, difficult. But of course you don't have to. I have a bad habit of, if I'm gonna do something, do it right. So like I'll like dive into it with like huge plans and be like, no, we need to do like all these things to make it good. Otherwise, don't do it. It's a bad habit of mine, and it's a habit I'm very aware of. It's a bit of a perfectionist habit, especially with like stuff that I do in particular. So, you know, probably not, but it's something. D&D, like, it's mega fun. Like, it's a mega fun thing, and I think Also, as VTubers, it's a lot easier to get quote-unquote like in character because you can make a character whatever you want. That's the benefit of VTubing, right? You are whatever you design your character to be. In my case, I've made mine really more of an extension of myself because I just find that the most fun to do. But there will be days, as I said earlier, there will be days where I'll do full character acting and we'll make a time of it. But mostly extension of me. But if I was like an adventurer or something, you know, then no, I would just like act as an adventurer. But it would make a lot more like quote-unquote sense because it's just like a VTuber model doing that. To go back to an earlier point that I think that Henry made, I think it's a gold mine. Like he thinks it's the gold mine of potential. I agree. Sure thing, June. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. I imagine you have a busy day. It's a Sunday, so don't work too hard. It's your weekend. You need to, you know, you deserve time off. But thank you for coming in. Be well. I will see you soon. Have a good one. But yeah, that's kind of, I haven't got a huge amount more to talk about anyway. I did want to kind of, you know, want to cap this at 2 hours. We're like an hour and a half now. But yeah, we'll go from there. Again, this is Q&A time, so if anyone has questions about like what as a character I'm doing, what my aims are, or things you want to see me doing, let me know. I said, yeah, the most recent one, this was a huge tangent of Hunter, are you going to play Genshin? And it's like, yeah, I might play Genshin. We'll see how we go. Do you have any plans to make drinks in stream? I'd love to. I really want to do that. I've taken a lot of inspiration from like Onigiri. Onigiri is someone who I've talked to like in the past a few times actually about like content in general, and they do a bunch of fantastic cooking stuff. I want to do more like coffee making and like matcha making and things like that. The problem is like that stuff is mega fun, but it takes like 10 minutes to do and then it's done. So there is that difficulty, but I do already have most of the tech to do that. I don't have the green screen suit. Because I believe that's how Onigiri does it. They get into like a green screen suit, and that's kind of how it is. Or they just like cut from like the hands down. Like there are some ways to do it. I just have to look into like viability and final options as to how to make that happen. But it's something I do want to do. Like that's like probably more of like a midterm goal. Definitely not a long-term goal, but a midterm goal would be to start doing like talking about coffee culture, talking about like matcha, tea, and all the culture behind like warm drinks on broadcast. As someone who loves doing those things, it's part of who I am. Like I own a cafe, right? Look at me. I'm in a cafe right now. I should probably make some drinks and then, you know, explore that. I don't know if I really want to go down like the bartender route of like making alcoholic drinks. I feel like that's expensive to do and a little bit less like, I love it, but less my vibe because I don't really want to be drinking on broadcast anyway. Mocktails, maybe. But again, I haven't really got a huge amount of stuff for that yet. Hot drinks in the odd summer though, there are ways around that. You can make a hot drink and then cool it down. Like cool it down, cool it down. So if I, for example, make like a pour over coffee, I can just put it into like a carafe of like ice. And then it will just get cold really quickly. It does, of course, dilute because it melts some of the ice, right? But that's what iced coffee always does. Or blast the AC. Yeah, but that's power bill go up. Like, that's a problem, right? Like, but you could do it. You could do it. But there's definitely ways to make like a hot drink cold quickly without diluting the drink to heck and back. So what I would do is I would make like I would change the way I do my coffee pour to just concentrate it way more. So instead of using like 30 grams would net me like 480 grams of like water, I would probably go down to like, you know, 400 grams of water. Something way more intense. Sorry, 1 second. Way more intense. There we go. And then from there, like the ice would melt and then I'd have a cold drink, but it's diluted. One moment. That thing where like something stuck in your teeth. So I was just like, I need to fix this, but you don't need mouth sounds. Well, people pay good money for that. But yeah, it's something that I'd love to do. That's a big midterm goal. And I have most of the hardware to already do that. So I have like, because I'd need to put a camera, or not a camera, but like, you know, mount the iPad to something in the kitchen. That's easy to do. Mount it in the kitchen. I've got a laptop, so I can just run the iPad into the laptop. That's easy. Actually, that'd be better. But I need like an actual camera there as well, which I've got. I've got a nice widescreen like Sony action cam I could use. And then I've got to like cut it to such a point where it won't see me no matter what. It'll just see like my arms. Actually, that wouldn't be that bad. It's quite doable. I would just need to... Do I... Hold on. Do I own everything already? I might. Let me think about that. So iPad, camera, laptop. Just stream from the laptop because you can just run a wire direct into it. I don't need to send it to like a cloud server or anything like I have the ability to do. I could send it to a cloud server and then bring it down and then put it into my streaming PC and do it that way. Or I could not do that. That's a lot of effort. And it actually makes for a slightly lesser quality broadcast. I could mount a phone to an arm mount so I could see the stream rather in like real time or read chat. I reckon I could do it already. I reckon I actually already have the tech. I have a green screen. I have a couple. I have one from the ground and one that mounts from like the ceiling that I could wear a morph suit for like any final bits. That'd be probably how I'd do that. I might see if I can catch up with Onigiri and talk to her again and see how she does it. But I reckon I've got the tech to do it already. I just don't need to overkill it. Like I don't need to go like, oh, I'll plug it into a like the camera into a like live view unit, which can then transmit to a cloud server and then pull a cloud server down to my stream PC. I don't need to do that because I'm not going to be switching between stations. I'm not going to go from like my kitchen to like my computer setup. If I was going to switch setups while I was doing things, then yes, I would absolutely need to do that. But I wouldn't be. This would be really easy. Actually, this is very doable. I could do that. So I just run camera in via a cam link so I can get the hands. I use my USB mic. I'm using a XLR mic at the moment. So this mic is a Shure SM7B. It's a high-end kind of podcasting mic. I do have a really high-end USB mic as well, a condenser mic, which is good because that way it's not going to pick up the sounds of like all the cooking or like the drinking and stuff. Because I can do cooking too. You know, I can do this already. I already have the tech to do it. Laptop, camera, iPad. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it already. And I have like a ring light so that my hands are well lit. Yeah, no, I can do that. I can already have the ability. I'll just need to storyboard out effectively or like plan out like the architecture required for that, because it would require me to disassemble things from like my main computer, take them over there, plug them in and do things. But that wouldn't be too hard as long as I set up a system for it. Because it'll just be like, move the USB mic. I think I just leave a different camera in there. Yeah, this will be easy. Different camera in there. The only thing I'd need to really pull out from my setup would be one of a cam link and then a mic. USB, the iPad I could use is the iPad mount for, because I have an iPad mount. So right now I've just got mine like on a book, on like two Switch mounts of all things because they work. But I have an iPad mount. I could pop that out there. You know, it's very doable. It's very doable. And then yeah, phone mount for chat. Just mount that just above the iPad. So that way when I'm looking at chat, I'm looking at the camera. Yeah, no, that's very doable. I didn't realize that how I could already do that. So yes, I will do drink making and cooking broadcasts because I already have the technology to do it. Which is great. Do I want to overkill it though? I could run, I think there's 3 USB slots in my laptop, so I could run 2 cameras. I think I could run 1 hands and then 1 top down, because you'd really want a top down one as well. Top down to be something that's totally doable. Coffee grinding ASMR. I could do mechanical or hand grinding. I could do both. I got both. High Tension Productions. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Or Huntachino to you. But yeah, that's something I could do. For those who just tuned in, we're talking about like if I want to make drinks in streams or not. And it turns out that yeah, I have the tech already to do that. I didn't realize I did. I thought I'd need to buy a couple more things, but I actually don't. I have everything already. So yes, we will do that. Give me a few weeks, if that's okay, just to kind of get into VTubing as a habit and understanding like where I need to look at when I talk and things like that. But once I know that, then it'll be more or less fine, which should be good. I can do that for sure. I realized I couldn't move my chat, so I just moved it then because I've been looking like to the left, as you can see. I can move it to be just above my iPad because so this way I can actually like look directly at you, which is a bit nicer. Directly at you. Thank you for the debut. Congratulations. I appreciate it a lot. You know, quite a few people couldn't make the debut, and that's totally fine. Like, you know, don't feel obligated. I am still blown away by the level of support that I've gotten. I know some people are going to be like, oh, you've only got 10 concurrents. I'm like, nah, dude, I got 10 concurrents for a debut stream, which I didn't really advertise very heavily. That's awesome. I'll take that. We take those. We take those here. Plus, for me, numbers aren't the end game anyway. It's just about having fun. If I have like 3 people in chat and they're all chatting, perfect. I'm set. That's all I need. But thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to doing collaborations with other VTubers as well. That's the like thing I'm mega excited for. Any like my YouTube VTuber people who I know, I'll be definitely down to do stuff with them. I don't even have to broadcast it. I'm just down to do stuff with them. But yeah, let's lock that in. Drink making and coffee making streams and stuff will be something I'll definitely do. I have a few different ones I can do that for as well. And it's the 通訳翻訳と通訳漢字を読まなからが Google さん通訳してね。It's not letting me copy it. これ翻訳 The translator. 通訳 is like an interpreter, right? So 翻訳 These 翻訳 Yeah. I got the yaku part, and then the first kanji, I'm like, wait, is that honyaku or tsuyaku? Because it's like between like translation and interpreting, right? But good to see you. Hello, and thank you. The little koala on my shoulder, he is Noah. As you can see, he also tracks to my eyes and tracks a little bit. But if I like, you know, if I bother him too much, he gets a bit mad. He gets a bit cranky. So I don't want to like go too hard. はじめまして、デニーさん。元気よ？元気か？ Oh yeah. That terrible. Like, nice to meet you. I'm really well. That's good instruction. Good instruction? Good
Introduction.
Hunter. Good lord. Just gonna tangle myself on my own words a little bit. Oh yeah, so drinking. No, let's clarify that. Making non-alcoholic hot beverages is on the plan. But if I can do that, it means I can do cooking streams as well. I also really enjoy cooking. To go back to one of my debut slides from the other day, which one is it? Not that one, not that one, that one. I love cooking. I really enjoy food and cooking. So that's something that I will be doing a lot. And if we've got, yeah, I've already got the hard way to do it, so we might as well do them. Fantastic fun. We'll keep the recipes pretty basic. I know Onigiri, bless her heart, fantastic individual, does some really cool, pretty complex recipes. I want to keep mine simple because I think I'd love to be able to do it so people could cook at home at the same time. It's the same few ingredients, nice and easy, can make that done. But yeah, that's something we'll look into. I'll definitely explore that. Just again, give me a couple of weeks to kind of get the hang of doing broadcasting as a VTuber and getting into it and making new friends and all that kind of stuff. And we'll see how we go. And, you know, we'll get into collabing eventually. I'm not in a particular rush for that. Right now, I really want to find my feet first and get the hang of things. Because if I'm going to collab with someone, I want to make sure that they're getting my A game. That I want to give them the best performance possible because there's a high chance it'll be on their channel, but not like my channel. Because like, depends. Like, I'm happy to do it on mine, but I'm also more than happy just to give other people content and have fun with it, right? Like HelloFresh, but more Hunter Fresh. Oh my god. Perfect. Hunter Fresh. Lock it in. But pretty much, yeah. Like, I've used a bunch of those in the past. Like, HelloFresh is good. Every plate is even simpler. Every plate has even less ingredients. So it's really, really easy for people to emulate. There's also other, like, recipe apps out there and things you can do. But HelloFresh is easy. It just arrives at your house, right? So it's a simple one. The problem, though, is I don't believe it's the same recipes available every week worldwide, right? So the recipes that I have would be different to the recipes that, like, HelloFresh in, for example, like Japan might have, or Europe might have, or America might have. It'll be different. So every plate is great, but HelloFresh has a much larger selection of meals. They're both the same company anyway, let's be real. But I think as a result, HelloFresh might be better. With the price of groceries getting, like, hectic in Australia anyway, I've been looking at getting back into a subscription service. And I know that, like, HelloFresh has, like, hella sponsorship opportunities. So I might just do that. If they want to send me, you know, they want to send me a box, I won't say no. But yeah, I wouldn't mind just, you know, doing those. I think it'd be really fun. And yeah, like, now that I've realized I have the technology to do it, I am inspired. Speaking of inspiration, big thank you for all of you who have come in. Don't forget to, you know, like the channel and subscribe and hit the bell. Hitting the bell is really important because it's a good way to know when I go live. I mean, I have a schedule, so, you know, you'll know anyway. Like, I have a schedule here, so you'll know when I'm going to broadcast irrespective. But I might do, like, you know, impromptu ones, or, like, you know, impromptu collabs that maybe are not on the... not on the schedule, but they're there, so, you know, it's a good way. But I'll generally try and stick to my schedule. We'll see how we go. If any of you play Apex, pop around on Saturday. But yeah, if you have any other questions, again, this is kind of like debut 2.0 Q&A. For those who missed a lot of stuff, you can catch the VOD afterwards. But we talked a lot about, like, design decisions, where my model came from, all three versions of it, where the background came from, where the music came from, and a few other things. Already heard in the debut that I have Dark Souls. Did I mention that? I mean, I do have it. And you plan to play other From Software games? Well, I've got all of them. I've got PS3 Demon Souls, yeah, Dark Souls 1, 2, Skulls of the First Sin 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring. If I was going to play any of them, it'd be the two which I own, but have not really played all that much of, or any of in one case, which would be Bloodborne and Sekiro. I've played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 enough times, and Elden Ring I played through and finished once, and I don't really want to do it again, because it's very, very long for what it is. I mean, I guess New Game Plus runs would be faster, right? Because you just wouldn't need to go and get a bunch of stuff, but if I'm going to play any of them, it'd be Bloodborne and Sekiro, because they would be blind playthroughs. I haven't played them. I've played the first hour of Sekiro, but, like, I don't remember any of it. But those would be the two I'd want to play. I still want that. Give me that 60 FPS Bloodborne patch one day. Come on, From. Just do it. Oh, and I would also play the PS5 Demon Souls remake, because I only played a little bit of it, and it's been so long since I played Demon Souls. Like, I played it out when it came out on PS3. That's when I last played it, apart from the PS5 one a little bit. So I don't remember anything about it. So I would be happy to play that. I think it'd be really fun. Can't parry. Ah, I see. Yeah, Sekiro is such an aggressive game. You really need to parry from what I've seen of it. I've watched a fair bit of it. I've just never played it. I've watched a fair bit of it. But yeah, no, good. I'd love to play those. I've got them all. It's like my game collection is not small at all. I have a lot of games to play. If you want to suggest games that you want to see, throw them at me, and I'm happy to, like, consider them. Because I really just, like, I want to play these games anyway. I have them. I want to play them. I just haven't decided on what I want to play. So I've kind of just, I've, like, made my, except for Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy 14 and Apex, they're really the only three that I'm, like, going to play. Probably Overwatch 2. Oh, and definitely Gundam Evolution. When, like, Gundam Overwatch comes out, I'm going to play that a lot. Provided the game is good, you could realistically see me pretty much play nothing but Gundam when that comes out for a while until I get bored of it. But I really want to go heavy on Gundam Overwatch. I'd also love to play like other games like Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. The Final Fantasy VII BR is a heap of fun. The reason why I haven't played that is because you can't change your ID name. I can't change it. I have no way to change it. There's like, you just have to make a new account. Well, I'm like, I'm not making a new account. That's not happening. So no. Otherwise I'd play that. The game is mega fun. But yeah, I can't change my name, which is annoying. It's frustrating, if nothing else. And you know, personally identifiable as heck. So can't do that. But oh well, there's a billion other games out there to play. Persona 5 is mega fun. I mean, I've got P3 on PS2, P3 Fez on PS2. I've got P4 in all its forms, including Royal on PC, and P4U on PC as well. And I've got P5 and P5 Royal. They're fun games. Like, those are all games that are fun, but they're really long, which is problematic. I haven't played P5 Royal yet, so I'd like to. It's just a long game. But I also want to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and that's a long game. Like, I want to play little long games. Those are games that I'll probably play on weekends because, like, during the week, streams, I kind of want to keep to, like, 1 or 2 hours if I can. Like, keep them kind of short because I have, like, a day job and, like, other things during the week I need to do. But the weekend, I want to do, like, long broadcasts. Like, give me like a 6 hour or a 10 hour. Like, I'll just sit down and play for a long time. So I want to save the JRPGs for those. Because if I do like 1 or 2 hour streams, it's going to take me like 60 streams to finish one of those games. It takes forever. So I want to really push through them. So like Live Alive and XE3 and Digimon Survive, which is a game which I'm really keen on actually. That they all just came out, so I want to play all those, but they need long times to do. So that's something I definitely want to consider. I just need to figure out how to properly execute on that. Whereas like Sekiro, Bloodborne, games like that, you can play for a couple of hours and make a bit of progress and have fun and be like, yeah, cool, I'm done. I move on. Originally, the reason why I wanted to do short streams was to go for that kind of false scarcity approach of like, you know, oh yeah, you got to tune in at those times or you're not going to get anything. But I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to overmarket myself. I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun playing games. If people tune in, cool. If they don't, that's cool. Like, the worst case scenario is I get to enjoy playing a game. Oh no, life is hard. So I want to have that angle where like, no matter what, I come out of a broadcast being like, that was fun. I got to play some video games. That was cool. I enjoyed my time, kind of thing. So as long as I can do that, it'll be fine. I'm more than happy to just talk to myself for like hours. I'm one of them people that talks to themselves when they walk around anyway. Good streamer will just talk to themselves. Like when I'm like cooking or something and like I'm thinking, I just vocalize my thoughts when I'm by myself, not when I'm around other people as much. But I do that. So it doesn't bother me if I'm just like sitting here and talking because I just do that anyway. Nothing's different. It's just I'm an anime boy now instead of me. So that'll be something that I will do. But you know, thank you for the suggestions. This is giving me a lot to think about. Drink making, food making. Denise, it is, yes. So JST, I'm in Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is 1 hour ahead. So my times are always going to be JST friendly because yeah, I'm only an hour ahead. So looking at my schedule for next week, we have like, to convert them to JST, basically, Wednesday, 7 p.m., Friday, 4 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. is pretty much the times that they'll be. So yeah, there should always be, if you're in Japan or Southeast Asia or Australia, you'll always be good. New Zealand, sometimes, because I do some late broadcasts. But yeah, so if you're in like the East Asia area, or Oceania, you're laughing. I apologize to those in Europe because it's a bit rough for Europeans. Like Saturday and Sunday, that's like 3 a.m. Europe time, but they're going to be long streams on the weekends if I do them. So there's a chance for like, I don't know, for them to wake up and kind of tune into it. Where it's really rough is Americans have a lot of trouble here. So Americans can catch like the start of the weekend streams. Friday stream, probably forget it. Wednesday stream, definitely forget it. Like the Americans can tune in for the weekends, and then the Europeans can tune in during the week. It's pretty much how I've planned that out. It's kind of the best I could do. Friday in particular has a very unique start time because a really good friend of mine wants to watch, and they're based in Germany. So, so yeah, that's like a very unique thing. 11 p.m. Yeah. Oh, what, if you're in America, 11 p.m. like East Coast? Is that East Coast? Current time, New York. What? The current time in New York is 11:46 p.m. So yeah, it's not great. I get that. Yeah, I do feel bad. Yeah, like my schedule is not very American friendly, but that's a difficulty of streaming in Australia. Unless I do like a morning stream. If I do like a 10 a.m. stream or something like that, I could do that. I could change one of these weekend ones to like 10 a.m. If I wanted to make them more American friendly, I could totally do that. I just not much of a morning person. That's why I'm a coffee person, right? I'm not a morning person. So sorry, my schedule's still up. But you get the idea. Either way, to answer the question, yeah, the streams will be very JST friendly, and some streams will be in... Most streams will be in English. Some streams will be in full Japanese, but not too frequently because my Japanese is... I ain't no N2, boy. I'm like between N4 and N3, so, you know, that's a bit difficult. Except for Monster Hunter on the Switch. When I play Switch Monster Hunter games, very likely that the stream will be in Japanese. Apex, sometimes as well. Apex streams I'll probably alternate between... between like English and Japanese. Oh, you're BST, Brazil time zone, I see. So current time in Brazil is... Oh, okay. Oh, Brazil's after. It's after America. Oh, honto ka. I'm rough. That makes things really rough for South America. I mean, it's impossible to please everyone because that's the way time works and the world works, but I will try. I'd love to visit Brazil one day. I haven't yet. I love travel. The main project I want to do is, and it's a bit difficult because I don't have the manpower or resources that like a corporation does, right? Is how do I do IRL streaming as a VTuber? That seems impossible to do as one person because you get doxxed really easily. If someone just stream snipes you, that's it. I reckon you could do it if you had like a mad delay on the stream, like a half-hour delay. But then you couldn't interact with chat at all, which is not fun. But it would be the only way to do that in a secure fashion, I think. But even then, like, it's difficult. How do you do it? How do you make it so that your VTuber reacts when you're walking around? There's no real viability for that unless you're like, how do I get a LiDAR camera to face me? Yeah, nah, it's like, it's not really viable. It's not viable with the tech currently available to us in a way that doesn't mean you can get doxxed. So I need to do some consideration there and kind of figure that out. Japanese is very 上手。そうですか。上手じゃなくて苦手だよ。日本語の話すが苦手です。でも頑張りますね。I'll keep trying. I'll get there. I do practice most days, not every day, but most days I do at least like my kanji and vocab practice, and I do get in speaking practice 3 times a week. So I'm getting there. I'd like to get an N2 eventually, but we're working towards it. I reckon by the end of this year, I could give the N3 a crack and probably fail it, but not by much. Not that I'll be able to because of COVID restrictions. There's only 40 places for any JLPT level 3 to 5 this year, and they sold out like the day it was available. So I'm like, well, no JLPT for Hunter this year. Oh well. It's fine. I actually think that qualification's like kind of biased and not great. But you need it. If you want to get a job in Japan, you need it. And, you know, that's just the way that is, right? What can you do? But yeah, if you have any other final questions, we're going to start going into the wrap-up period here now. We're going to end things in about 10 minutes. Oh, you're studying English! Oh, そうか、頑張りましょう。はい、頑張りますよ。でも、I am so sorry. I speak very quickly. As an Australian, and it's a habit I think one of the other things as a VTuber I really want to accomplish is fixing my voice patterns. And by that, I don't mean like my intonation or my Pix accent or like Hatsuo, for example. I think I'm okay with that. But I speak too fast. I speak incredibly quickly. Even for an Australian, I speak incredibly quickly. And a lot of people who watch, say, broadcasts, English isn't their first language, which is totally fine. And I want to get into a habit with my content of being able to present content in something that is more accessible to a larger audience. And to do that, I just need to slow the down, right? Like, I need to slow down. If I don't, then it becomes impossible. Like, for example, I'll go back to my regular pace, right? So if I'm talking normally like this, I talk pretty fast. It's really hard to keep track of what I'm saying. Like, it's very quick. Makes sense to me, but I know that I even lose other Australians with my normal conversational speed. It's really tricky. So one, I think, major objective as VTubing I want to do is to learn how to speak more slowly. So if I'm speaking too fast, just tell me. Please call me out. I don't feel bad about it at all. I'm happy to slow down. I think it's something I need to do. I also want to get into vocal training. We did talk about music before, but we didn't finish that conversation. So I'm going to spin around back to that for a little bit. So I want to get into vocal training. I've had some people, I've had quite a few people being like, hey, you should look into voice acting. And it's something I've considered in the past. I don't know if I really want to do it, but we'll see. I definitely have the microphone and the soundproofing and the technology to make that happen. I just haven't. But to do that, I really need to do some vocal training anyway. I can't sing to save myself, but I want to learn how to. Therefore, vocal training. I think it's, especially getting into the world of VTubing, I'd love to do like covers and things like that. But like specifically of like old music. Like I'm talking like 90s. Like let me cover Japanese 90s and like early 2000s. None of the new stuff. No. We're gonna cover the old stuff. Maybe not as old as like, you know, like Yamazaki Masayoshi. But you know, a little bit old. Oh, we might do something like Winds is kind of old. L'Arc-en-Ciel is like 90s, but my voice, I'm a tenor. I can't get that high, so I can't do L'Arc-en-Ciel voice anymore. I talk so much, I've lost octaves in my voice. But I do also own an instrument. I do own effectively Japanese banjo. It's called a sanshin. Not the same as a shamisen. They're different things. I do own one, but I can't play it. And I have had so much trouble finding instructions or like ways to learn how to play it. There really aren't any because it's all in Japanese or it's in like an Okinawan dialect and I'm totally screwed. It's like, well, I've got nothing there because a lot of the songs in that you'll play on a sanshin use like old Ryukyuan language, right? So almost like, oh wow, you know, well they still use like wu as like a sound, which in Japanese you don't really see, right? Yeah, sanshin is not common. It's quite uncommon. Shamisen you see a lot more. Sanshin, because it's an Okinawan instrument, is you see it a lot. To my awareness, I've not been to Okinawa. I've been to Japan a bunch, but like I haven't been down south. You see him a heap there, but you don't see him like anywhere else. So it's a bit unique. A case in point, I went to like a Japanese like foundation, like library we have here. And I was like, hey, do you have any instruction booklets on a sanshin? And they were like, oh, shamisen? I'm like, no, sanshin. And they're like, what's that? I was like, oh, I've picked an obscure instrument, haven't I? No! But I got it with a really good price because they're normally like $1,000 plus for a Sanshin. I got mine for like 200 because someone was selling it on eBay cheap. They didn't want it anymore. And I was like, I'll get it. But yeah, it's hard to learn how to play it. It's hard to find places to learn. There was a place in my city that did lessons. They no longer exist, but they're doing a big Okinawan festival in Sydney in a few months, I think. I don't live in Sydney, but I might travel to Sydney just to find out some information. To be like, does anyone teach Sanshin still? I know that there's an Okinawa association nearer to me. So I definitely want to hit that. I have hit them up in the past, but they didn't get back to me. 1 moment, sorry. So, but of course, like, you know, there's enough out there that I can probably teach myself the basics. I just would appreciate having a helping hand. And a lot of people have also said, oh yeah, if you learn how to play shamisen, Sanshin's just the same thing with less strings. And I was like, oh, okay. But they do sound pretty different and they have a different pluck. Like with shamisen, you have like the bachi, right? With Sanshin, you have like a little finger pluck. Not quite the same. They're very, very different. So I got a problem. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up now. I think I'm done. Thank you for hanging out today. I've had a great day. It's been really good. I'm going to, however, I think, relax for a bit. Don't forget about my schedule. Schedule will be no stream Monday, no stream Tuesday, stream Wednesday, though we'll play some Monster Hunter Rise. So thank you for coming in and thanks for hanging out. I had a great time. I hope you all had a great time as well. I'm going to do what I usually do some trimming on this, turn it into a VOD and get the VOD up. But thanks for hanging out, everyone. Everyone says Otsukare-sama deshita, but Otsukare-hanta deshita. Much love to all of you. I'll see you on Wednesday. Be well, take care, much love, and I will catch you all then. Have a good one. Mata ne!